What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Stand Tall. So, we just finished out chapter 11, which is the 9 situations. And since we are now in September dealing with the number 9 and we skipped chapter 9, we're going to go ahead and go back and finish out the army on the march. And we're going to look at the next several reflections up until we are ready to change again, because we have done terrain and the chapter following it, the 9 situations. So let's see how far 9 gets us into October. So without further ado, the army on the march. Verse 1, Sun Tzu said, "We come now to the question of encamping the army and observing signs of the enemy. Pass quickly over mountains and keep in the neighborhood of valleys." All right, let's jump on over to the alternate translation and see. We're going to do one verse at a time. We're not going to do a whole lot, even though they do flow together. Maneuvering armies, Cao responds on the title. This means choosing the most advantageous ways to go. That's why terrain is important. Kind of serendipitous how we did terrain before this. Interesting. So Master Sun says, whenever you station an army to observe an opponent, cut off the mountains and stay by the valleys. Li Kuan reflects, cutting off the mountains means guarding the defiles, and staying by the valleys means being close to water and fodder. Wonder what he means by water and fodder. Maybe like fish and things like that. So let's break this down. We come now to the question of encamping the army and observing signs of the enemy. So when you're up high, pass quickly over mountains, don't be seen, and keep in the neighborhood of valleys. When you're on low ground, stay hidden while you're watching and observing the enemy. Right? Because, I mean, it is easy to spot people on high ground, but having high ground is only an advantageous position only if you are in battle or about to be in battle. But it's kind of interesting to hold high ground if you're not in battle. So I think as we consider maneuvering armies and the army on the march, we need to think of positioning. So this is just a general welcome to the chapter. As we move forward, we need to be aware that positioning where we are around the enemy is constantly important. So let's jump over to the Daily Stoic from Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. Let's try to tie in some Western philosophy. So, a different way to pray. Try praying differently and see what happens. Instead of asking for a way to sleep with her, try asking for a way to stop desiring to sleep with her. Instead of a way to get rid of him, try to ask for a way not to crave his demise. Instead of a way to not lose my child, try asking for a way to lose my fear of it. Marcus Aurelius, Meditations 9.40.6. That in and of itself is an interesting reflection as far as what we just read from the Art of War. Always move quickly over mountaintops, but stay in the valley of the stay in the valleys instead of trying to keep the high ground and the best positioning and being able to see everything. Instead, think of, how am I not seen? How do I observe? How do I gain a tactical advantage? Prayer has a religious connotation, but in life we all find ourselves hoping and asking for things. In a tough situation, we might silently ask for help, or, after a tough break, for a second chance from above. During a sports game, we might sit on the edge of our seat wishing for some outcome. Come on, come on, come on, we say, please. Even if it is to no one in particular, we're still praying. I mean, let's just pause there on praying. Praying doesn't have to be to a Christian god or a Krishnu god or a Shiva or a god of the sun or anything like that. Praying is a universal, sign of hope in a way. And it's so revealing in these moments when we're privately, powerfully yearning for something. Just how nakedly selfish our requests usually are. It's true. We want divine intervention so that our lives will magically be easier. But what about asking for fortitude and strength so you can do what you need to do? What if you sought clarity on what you do control and what is already within your power? You might find your prayers have already been answered. I find that second to last sentence, what if you sought clarity on what you already do control and what is within your power, is very powerful. Because a lot of times bullheaded, pig-headed, and when I say bullheaded, I mean like rushed thoughts. So what if you saw it clarity? Yeah, it's just that's so cool. I love that reflection, and I think that, like, instead of trying to tie it into Sun Tzu just really quick, instead of trying to, while you're, observing the enemy and not be seen, control what's already within your power, and don't always worry about the things that you can't control. Just because you're watching the enemy, doesn't mean that, what they're doing necessarily means they're doing what you think that, so there's, I think, that reflection to take as well. And then, how do we apply that to either our business life or our personal life would be the next question. And so I'm actually going to leave that one up to y'all, because I see a few. Especially for the personal life. And I just want to hear some of y'all's comments on them in the section below. So drop them, leave a like button, please share, and all of that other stuff. But I look forward to reading what y'all have to think. And we will see you on the next one.